Hey everybody, it is It is Tuesday night, August 6th. Out of the garage working on Jeep, making some progress. Kind of warm out tonight, but just doing what we do. So going along fairly well. Just got done. Actually had to cut off one of the bolts for the exhaust pipe down there. Didn't want to come, and they have this really clever little like cage nut thing that keeps the nut up on top, and the bolt just threads in. Of course, they just round it around, and believe it or not, I can't even get my hand up in there. So we got a little cut off tool out, cut that one off, so the exhaust is disconnected. And that's pretty much the last fairly intensive thing that will be taken off, I guess, before we're ready. Let's take a look at what we got. We have our engine timed. What we have, I'll show you how we did that. Down here is our idler pulley. And there's a double pulley on the back of that runs the left and the right cam chains. Of course, it's driven off the crankshaft. As you can see, I marked it in white. There's a dot on the gear that goes straight up in the 12 o'clock position. You can see that the oops, about that. The keyway for the crankshaft damper is pointed, kind of like at 1 o'clock. And if the cover was on here and the corresponding marks on the cover could be seen, that is at TDC. Okay, so we got that there. We got that, and we also have, and I'm hoping in the light you guys can see this. Okay, here's our left side, well, right side of the engine camshaft, but on driver's side camshaft, and I'm not sure how much of this I'm picking up. Hopefully I am. You see it's got a V8 marking on the top that goes straight up at the 12 o'clock position. It's got an L and it's got an R, and of course the R goes at 9 o'clock and the L goes at 3 o'clock roughly. And you'll notice I've marked another little dot right here in white. Okay, that white, if you look at the links, that link is a different color, okay, than all the rest. That link on that cam and the corresponding link on the other cam with the V8 at 12 o'clock line up at the dot. Okay, that's your cam timing. So right now we're at TDC on our crank, okay, and that would be TDC for the number 1 cylinder, okay, and we're at our straight up neutral position for our idler gear, and we've got our crank, or I'm sorry, our camshaft and our camshaft ones lined up. So right now we're in time on the marks. Now the next thing that we're going to do, sorry for the shaky cam, I'm trying to hold her tight here. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take out the cam tensioners here and here. Okay, yeah, up in there. We're going to take those out, and we're going to remove this cam chain guide and this cam chain guide on both sides. We'll take these two out over here, okay, and I've already taken my air gun and taken the nut off the camshaft sprockets on both sides. So these sprockets will just wiggle off the cam, take the sprocket out, and let our chain just kind of set down in here, okay. But what I'm going to do is I'll get them and I'll show you. I've made, I don't want to mess with any of this at all. I want to leave it right where it is. So what I've done is I've made some wedges okay, that I'm going to fit down inside here, and this one here goes on the back cam. Okay, I don't know if you can see it down there. Okay, I put that wedge in, and that wedge will keep the, I actually have two of them. I'm going to put one there, I'm going to put one on the other side, and then I have wedges to go through here for this cam chain. And what that will do is it'll keep the chains on the pulley, on the sprocket, so this chain can't come off, can't slip. So this chain will maintain its position on our idler even though it's going to be unhooked here. So, and I found out the hard way that as you're making these, once you put these in and push them in, I push them in fairly tight, you can't get them out. So I drilled a hole in both of those, and I put this string on there, and I can pull it back out with the string afterwards. So let me do that. I'm going to put all of my little wedges in. I'm going to take these tensioners and the cam guides out, and I'll bring you guys back. Okay, so we've got our camshaft sprockets off, we slipped the chains off, we've got our wedges installed, these two for the driver's chain, and there's one in there and one in there, yeah, one down in there, keeping the passenger's chain connected. So the only problem with doing this way is we cannot rotate any of this, of course. Now we need to leave this just as is, so hopefully we won't have to. Of course, we're keeping in mind that we have that very ugly spark plug out of cylinder number 6, which we're going to see what we've got in the cylinder, but by the looks of the spark plug, yeah, I know, we'll have to see. Okay, so now we're going to take our cylinder heads off. Cylinder heads have 10 bolts. Sorry it's so dark, it's just kind of... Okay. Cylinder heads have, actually there's 14 bolts in the cylinder head. There's 4 small here, here, and down in there. There's 1, 2 down in there. I've already taken the small ones out. There's 14 bolts total. But the ones here, and here, here, like I said, here, here, there's 10 of them. And we're gonna loosen our cylinder head bolts in the reverse order of tightening. Basically we'll start on the top one all the way down there, then we'll do this one, we'll do the bottom one all the way down, then we'll do this one, then we'll move inboard and just work our way back and forth. That is out of the manual, the proper sequence for loosening these head bolts. So alright, I'm going to crack all of these bolts. I'm going to crack all the bolts on both sides loose and take those bolts out, and I will bring you guys back and we'll lift the cylinder heads off together. Hopefully they'll come right off. I did leave the exhaust manifolds attached to the head. We should be able to lift them right up out with it, and it shouldn't be much of a problem. So I'm thinking. So I will get that done, and I'll bring you guys back in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Alright, head bolts are out. Okay, head's loose. See if we can get it out of here. Oh, yeah, okay. Glove is hooked on something. Okay, oh, there you go. Ooh. there's number 6. Okay. Well, Houston, we have a problem. Whatever. Here, I'll take the camera. Whatever came up and whacked our spark plug. Was not friendly. That right there would be junk. So, not good. So that's what that one looks like. That would be number 6. That's where the spark plug had the issue. So that's not good. Although there is a possibility it's just the piston and maybe the walls aren't damaged, but either way, it's not a great thing. Okay, and here's the cylinder head. Like I said, there's number 6. It's, yeah, something something got in there and basically beat the crap out of that thing. So we're into this for a little more than a head gasket, unfortunately. But you know, look how clean that one is compared to the others. That's your coolant. It actually cleans that like that. That's why it's so much cleaner. So, okay, not good. But now we know. So I guess with seeing that, I'm not going to be too all fired up about taking the other head off. I probably will, but I'm not going to worry about doing it right now. So anyways, that's what we got. That's ugly. Very surprising, considering the way that this thing ran. It actually ran halfway decent. And if you look, I don't know, I'll get my light here. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up, but if you look, you can actually see the top ring gland. Ring gland is right there. So, and you know, it may be the kind of thing, I mean, there was pieces of piston clearly floating around in there, but it may be the kind of thing, the damage on the spark plug might have been caused by a piece of this, fortunately. So with it being, I guess our timing thing is really not a concern at this point, so I'll undo that timing and I'll roll this over. I'm just kind of curious as to what the cylinder walls look like on here, because I have run across it before where the aluminum of the piston, sorry guys, I'm trying to get this as good as I can. The aluminum of the piston actually burns away, if you will, melts away, but it actually doesn't do really any damage to the cylinder wall. We'll just have to see what we got. That would be very optimistic thinking on my part, but it's always a possibility. So anyways, alright, that's see, we got our book out. Like I said, we always have our book. And the other thing we did is camera girl was very, very nice, and you don't need that much of me. There you go. Camera girl is very nice, and we've labeled and bagged all of our hardware. as we take this thing apart. So okay, this is one of the kind of things that you do run across, you know, from doing this. Fortunately, yeah, and that's the little deal that goes with that. So yep. Okay. So the cylinder head is scrap, and you know that definitely the piston is scrap. I guess it kind of remains to be seen if the whole engine is scrap at this point. But fortunately, with the money that we're into this for, we're still fine. Even if we have to go, maybe we'll go and we'll see what's around for you know, wrecking yard engines. They got something possibly low mileage out of a rollover or something like that. That's a possibility. You check out some reman stuff. I think the remanufactured stuff that I saw was, you know, about $2,500, and that unfortunately would put a kibosh to this. I'm not going to put $2,500 into it. I mean, realistically, $2,500 for what we paid for it, but by the time you do hoses and all that other stuff, you're going to be into it for quite a bit more. So it's not really a value at that point. So there's that option. Next option is we could always just basically sell it as is for parts, and you know, get our money back and actually maybe make a few bucks. So that's an option as well. So I guess we got to think about this a little bit and do some checking around and see what we're into. Maybe we'll pull the engine. Maybe we'll do a rebuild. You never know. It all depends how the mood strikes, I guess. But either way, it's not a simple head gasket job. But this is one of the things when you kind of buy these things on speculation. This is one of the things that does happen. So that's where we're at. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure out what we're going to do and go on from there. So until the next time we get together, because to be honest with you, it's about 10 minutes of 10 and it's past my bedtime. So until the next time we get together, as always, take it easy.